Okay then, it is a Sunday morning. Probably one of the earliest streams I've ever done on a Sunday, going from sleeping to awakening to getting your stream ready and all of that stuff. Yeah, so I feel I feel like it's going to be a derpy one, you know? Welcome to the peeps tuning in. We are of course live on the twitch.tv/the the place where the live streams take place. Doing a little bit of inventory organizing, and then we're going to work more on the rib cage. It's quite amazing. You do one rib and it goes so far down. I was like, dang, I need to tear out more of this stone. So here we are doing a stream. We're going to tear out the stone, funny enough. Just clearing out my inventory, then we're going to repair the tools. Something like that. Actually, let's grab that gravel back. There's something else I was going to say as well. Anyway, let's read some names. Bushy Guy, The Only Royal, Eleanor Brandt, Mush, KOJO, Penelope Sky. See, it's early morning, the words ain't coming out right. Charlick V. Bushy Guy's very happy that they are first. Congratulations. Life Achievement Award right there. Yes, Not many of the usual names, right? Because it's quite early. Not sure what the earliest stream I've ever done is, but this might be a contender for it. Anyway, so I've got things to do today, and I wanted to get out of the house real early. So that's why I'm streaming early. Makes sense, right? Okay, I'm probably not going to need... Wait, I need to take care of these things, and then that's kind of it. Then we go repair tools, and then work on the place a bit more. Can go back in there, and then in the valuables, those two things. Sweet, looking good in the hood, homie. Always take your ender chest with you. Never woke up that early. How is everyone? Says Lemon Panda. I'm doing alright. I mean, I don't know what time it is where you are, but I've gotten into this comfortable routine of getting up just before 8 o'clock, and I go to bed later. Usually I used to get up really early in the morning and go to bed at like 9 or something, and I just felt, I don't know, like you have your routine, but you need to keep changing small things in your routine. That's what I've noticed. You tweak and adjust, and sometimes it's, you know, a big difference, and sometimes it's not much at all, but you know, you just keep tweaking things. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention. We have new Patreons here. Just Carl 7, Halen Daniel. I think they both signed up yesterday to play in the UHC. So thank you for signing up on Patreon. I hope you enjoy playing on the Let's Play Minecraft Together server. And we've got the one, the only Mace School here for 87 months. Mace, I got to read a little bit of the chat. What happened? Did Hermitcraft... It sounded like... Well, it didn't sound like it crashed. It sounded like the server just rebooted and then everything's fine. Thank you for helping with that, of course. Yeah, I mean, that was when I was asleep. So I couldn't have done anything about it. Not that I even know how to reboot the server, you know. Someone restarted it. Did they... When you say server, I'm assuming you're meaning the physical hardware, right? Like someone inside OVH did it. I'm guessing. Are we being raided? I just started. Jeez. Oh, repairs. Oh, God, loud noises. We're going to have plenty of that. Oh, fixed it. Okay, so I need to repair that pick and this one too. Jevin needs loads of stone, so I'm trying to mine everything with stone. Okay, Linehan and her pride are roaring into the stream. Aha. Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Are you from the Minecraft community? Yeah, let me know. I'll try and keep my eye on chat. I'm known for being terrible. Anything I promise to do. Can't remember anything for more than a moment. Let's grab this sucker. Take out some... Oh god, they're still loud. Doing a little dance with those pickaxes. Yeah, when they're both repairing, I guess... Oh, you see it more this way because look, the thing pops up and down, but in this view it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't, does it? Linda Hunt says, I am indeed. I play with the Adults Craft network on a Java SMP. Awesome. Playing SMP is the way to play the game. So much fun playing with others, right? Plus, they build you Enderman farms. You can just come and use it for free. Oh, we're being raided by Ricky Ticky Time as well. Apparently, Ricky Ticky, thank you so much for the raid. Dang, double raid right at the beginning of a stream. I mean, maybe this is because I decided to stream so early. You can probably hear my morning voice. I've just woken up, gotten things ready to go out, gotten things ready to stream, walked around the block, and then here we are. Didn't even get time to stretch. You know? Just straight on it today. Right, there we go. Turn that off. And before I forget, because I always do... There we go. By the way, I came here once, right, and there was a big blob of XP like this, and I didn't even use the farm. I just walked into the blob of XP and repaired absolutely everything. Now, I've got a theory that there's some sort of XP clumping or overlapping. I remember they made a change to something with XP a while back, and it doesn't despawn straight away. So... like, it lasts a long time if you've been whacking the Enderman, because you can get XP from Enderman if you kill them constantly, faster than you can pick it up. So, all of that XP just sits in this, like, ball like this. And I came over and I literally repaired all my tools in one go, and I was just like, this is so weird. Sharu Manaru, thank you so much for 32 months. Always nice to catch an early stream at the end of a long shift. Awesome, awesome, my dude. We need like a raid emote in chat, don't we? Ricky Ticky Time says, good morning. Hopefully you have a good cup of coffee there. I don't have coffee on my off days. So no coffee for me today. Although sometimes I have decaf coffee. I had a decaf coffee yesterday. And my grinder usually doesn't grind it up that coarse. And for some reason, it ground it really fine, and it turned into a sludge inside of my French press. Really odd. I don't even have a cup of tea. I noticed lately I don't fancy drinking tea and stuff in the morning. Also, for you coffee drinkers, something... Look, I've made my point about the XP, haven't I? It just goes on and on and on. Let's get out of here. Having a coffee first thing in the morning, right, and I'm not talking anecdotally, this is something that's been scientifically studied. It will make you groggy later in the day. Now, I don't know what the scientific term for groggy is, and I might be somewhat butchering the description, but less energetic is probably how it was described. But if you have a coffee first thing in the morning, it will catch up with you later in the day and make you tired and less energetic in the evening. You're supposed to wait like a couple of hours before you drink coffee. So just a tip for any coffee drinkers out there. It's caffeine withdrawal, says Ellie Listic. I don't remember what I heard being described as that. I kind of latched onto the information more than the description. If it is that, then caffeine must linger in the body for quite some time. Lethargic says Blackjack. Yeah, that could be the sort of word. What did I say? Groggy? I imagine groggy probably wasn't the word. But yeah, these studies found that, you know, if you lay off drinking caffeine for a couple of hours in the morning, then you'll keep your energy throughout the day. You won't get this like end of day sort of deficit, or however you want to describe it. Fargood says, I heard it lingers for about 6 to 8 hours. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I wouldn't expect it to last the whole day. But anyway, it's some observed effect, and yeah. Lemon Panda says, I only drink coffee because it tastes really good. Awesome. Yeah, I like the taste of coffee. That's why I'll have a decaf, you know. Anyways, so time to get to it. Let's log in with ye old Kumara account. There it goes. Right, I'm just going to move it out of the way. Right, so I've got my replay mod camera account on the scene. What are you doing here? It's like this place isn't lit up properly. Actually, speaking of that, I need to get some of my glow lighting in straight away, really. Number 6 for lights. Could do with a touch of this, but I can't actually see up into the space that these things are being put here for, so we'll probably do like a run through after. Just get a bunch of these all over the spot first. Look, this is why we need the glow lichen. Yeah, you can see I've been doing a lot of this, right? We do that on the last bit, we must have done. Yeah, okay, so something like that. I can see a bit of a patch over here that's not very lit up. Then I want to go up the top and make sure it's all good on the inside. Yeah, so we can see like we need something here. I think I might just on occasion put them on the inside too, like that. Right. Then we go in the opposite direction. Mon Pie says, coffee makes my anxiety worse, but I still like to drink it. If it makes it worse, like anxiety is not something you want to make worse, right? I would recommend not drinking it. That is a known thing though, that it can sort of push your anxiety buttons, so to speak, right? And you don't want to reinforce those sorts of feelings. Oh yeah, and we got noises in the air. A cheesy boy, 2 months. Thank you so much. And Becca's gifting a sub to Veritai for 8. Thank you so much for gifting that sub, Veritai. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. We always appreciate the gifting of the subs. Right, so let's start digging this away, I guess. Yeah, I feel like going like this over here is probably a good way to get started. Just follow that gradient to begin with. Ooh, looks like we've got a cave, alas. And this is the gig, peeps. This is the gig. All these blocks got to go. Caffeine doesn't work, it just makes me tired, says Ariane. Yeah, not everyone responds to caffeine the same way, right? Am I behind on Hermitcraft since when does X have a skull on his head? Oh yeah, all the spoilers. It's super early in the morning. I didn't even have time to think about what was in my latest episode and la 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 la. So, spoilers for you. Have I ever played Borderlands 2? I have not played Borderlands 2. Next episode is tomorrow night, right? Yep, that's correct. Mondays. Monday Hermitcraft. That's the schedule. And we got some cheers and some biddies from Justin Fike. And there's no message with it. Well, Justin, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it nonetheless. If you want to throw a message in chat, I'll try and look out for it. Xisuma rate my username, says I microwaved Sonic. How could you do such a thing? Poor old Sonic the Hedgehog, fictional character. What did he ever do to you, eh? Other than collect rings. Gah. When will you update Hermitcraft to 1.19, says the kind wizard. Oh, we're going to update Hermitcraft to 1.19 when 1.20's out? Because it'll catch everyone off guard, right? Pretty genius idea. Imagine how excited people are going to be when 1.20 comes out, and then it's like, ah, but we're playing the wild update now. You know? You know? This is going to be so much fun. Such a surprise. Such an amazing tactic to get everyone interested in what we're up to over here, you know? Brilliant, says the Kraken. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe we should just downgrade, right? Oh, God. We could downgrade to 1.17. No one would see that coming. Oh, man, that's such a great idea. Such a great idea. I like it. Does anyone know how to hide the lines in Windows Excel, says Farglad. I think what you have to do, or I know there's a way to do it. I'm not sure if you can hide the lines, but you can fill in the colour of the background and then give it the same colour for the lines on the edges. But what you're doing is you're not really like removing the rendering of the cells. You're just painting them white, so to speak, or whatever colour it is you want, you know, your spreadsheet to look like. But yeah, painting the cells and painting the lines of the cells will, you know, give them a consistent look, I guess. I always like a good excuse to use a spreadsheet. I don't know why. Like, it's the way you can just put data into it and then have all of that like automated and calculated. You can just do some cool stuff with it. Like, I used to track my workouts with a spreadsheet. So like every rep, every weight would be counted, right? And then I'd have these charts that I could draw from it, where you can see my progress over time. But I can't be bothered to do that anymore. It's a good experiment. Half the world economy works on Excel, says Mayschool. That is probably, yeah, I could see that being true. A lot of companies use spreadsheets to manage everything, right? Dang. I mean, quite likely to be Microsoft as well. It's obviously a very valuable piece of software. Yeah, software. It's funny because my job is avoiding companies to use Excel, says Harrisis. I'm assuming you're offering them some sort of alternative. I think... Is my... Okay, no. I've just looked at my camera account and there is a cave with some annoying zombies. They sounded so loud, I thought maybe my camera account was just shoved into a cave or something. Blackjack says the UK miscounted COVID cases because they used Excel and didn't notice lines were cut off at the bottom. I remember hearing something about that. Maybe not just COVID as well, something else on the NHS where they misused the spreadsheet. But that's just human error, right? Like, that'll happen. You can almost count on human error sometimes. No, Microsoft probably doesn't use their own products. Too glitchy for them, says First Prelude. I don't know. Like, if you're building programs, you obviously have to use a different program to make the program you use. But I imagine Microsoft surely do. Like, every time you work with Microsoft, they're always pushing their products like left, right, and center. Like anything Minecrafty that you do, it always has to happen. When I say Minecrafty, I mean with Mojang and Microsoft. You always got to use their products, and they don't work. At least for me, like you got to use Microsoft Teams, and I just can't get access to it. Like, it just doesn't work. And yeah, I imagine that's the culture of the company, is always to push their products. So saying they wouldn't use them would just be a bit mad, I think. Excel is great if you know how to work with it, says York. Yeah, it is, it is. And, you know, I mostly use Google Sheets and a free alternative called OpenOffice, but it's basically Excel, right? Like, there are non-Microsoft Excels too. Right, so I thought this would take forever. It looked like we had this giant mountain. If you look at now how we can sort of look down into this part, it's all good. And I guess what we want to do is sort of look down into the part over there. Like, I really want to be able to just get a good view of everything at the moment. Right, so then we'll come down like this a bit. It seems like not even a lot over here, so I might start building another rib at this point. Cheesy Boy says, wow, the ribcage is looking so good. Thanks, yeah, once I added the one I did last night, which is this one here, it really sort of like started to get its, ooh, like, you know, you can sort of see where it's going. It got its ooh factor, that's what we'll call it, the ooh factor. And yeah, so I just need to keep ripping out blocks and stuff and building it, obviously. But yeah, I just wanted to get like a view of it, and it felt like the way it dips down, like a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it needs to change somewhere around here. So I think we'll continue with this, like sort of pyramidish shape, if you want to describe it somehow. What's your favourite band at the moment, says the Only Royale? I don't really have, like, a favourite band. Actually, I tell you, I sort of do, now I think about it. Like, it would be Judas Priest. I absolutely loved getting into those records of theirs from the 80s. That was so much fun. And I keep going back to their songs and listening to them over and over again. So probably Judas Priest, but, like, I tend to think of, like, I just have records that I'm getting through on rotation and enjoying. One that I sort of like wrapped up on but will probably keep listening to for a while yesterday was Steve Roach collaborating with a Mexican and a Spanish musician to create this really amazing ambient record. It's on my music blog if you want to go check it out. It's called Forgotten Gods, I think, or yeah, that's the name of the album, and the band is Lost Memories or something. And it's got just this really interesting kind of Aztec tribe sort of vibe to it. Like you can hear some cultural chanting in the background, and all the instruments sound kind of like the percussive instruments sound very kind of like tribal. Gives you those kind of, yeah, I don't know. Like when I sat down and wrote it, I could describe it far more eloquently. Anyway, really cool record. I wanted to listen to that today while I was streaming, but it's probably just copyrighted, right? Toguro Joe, thank you ever so much for 43 months. We've got an arc here for 51, MB Menace for 6, and It's Gens for 12. Thank you for your tremendous support as always, peeps. Truly appreciated. X, do you use schematics when building? I do, yes. So speaking of schematics, let's go to the top here. Right, I'm going to move... Oh, gosh, look at my inventory. I'm going to move those in a second. It fills up so quick. So quick. I'm always thinking, like, is there something in my inventory that's just, like, chewing up space that I don't need, right? Like, maybe that pick, because I'm not using it at the moment. Maybe that scaffolding, right? I mean, all of these trips get magnified if you are holding on to extra items you're not using, so... There's always that. Let's eat some food. Do you have a favourite colour, says Oran. My favourite colour is blorange. What are those numbers on the floor? Oh yeah, they're light levels. We don't need those now. Okay, so... Grab that. Wrong one. Just going to put these over here now. And I'm going to need a bunch of that stuff. Yeah, so what I thought we might start doing is extending this down further. A fair bit of this at this level might actually be built already now that I think about it. Because, well, actually, no, not a fair lot. That's as far as it goes. So a couple of blocks down and we should start to see, there you go, the ghost blocks of where this all goes. Right, so that's what we're going to aim to do now, is start to extend this down further. And we've got a little cave under here. We'll just let that be. I think your bacon needs to use more water in the dough. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're even trying to imply there. Your favourite and least favourite book. I don't have a least favourite book. I don't really have a favourite book either. Yeah, I'm great at answering these questions, aren't I? Y'all should know me by now. I rarely think in terms of like, this is my favourite that, and that's my favourite this. I don't keep those lists in my head. Okay. Rain Wen is here for 6 months. Thank you so much for your support, Rain Wen. Greatly appreciate it. Have you tried using Amulet to prune your Minecraft worlds? If no, what do you use? MCA Selector and Amulet. Every time I've tried to use Amulet in the past, and that's probably been like a good year since I last tried. Like it was just too clunky to use. I don't know. Like I started using it early beta, so I don't know where it's at now. But I remember using. Now, was this program called World Edit? Because World Edit is something different now if it was. But we used to have this program back in the day where you could open up a world and then browse it in this program. So you'd get like a rendering of the world and you could make selections, you could run filters, and it was a really big and common tool. And then, I'm talking probably the last time you could use it, maybe now over like 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe even longer than that. And Amulet was supposed to be like the spiritual successor to it, but it just, I don't know, like, it got announced really early when it had very little functionality, and every time I checked it out, it couldn't really do anything yet. World Painter, no. MC Edit, yes, MC Edit's the one. Oh wait, I want to keep this staircase. I've still got the old copies of it on my computer. And you can still use it on old worlds and stuff, but at some point its compatibility with the new world format just kind of fell apart. But it was cool because it was like World Edit in-game. You know, you could make selections and run filters and whatnot, but it was an external program, and it was just a big part, like a big part of Minecraft nostalgia for me, I guess, now. Because I used to use it so often and do loads of cool stuff with it, and then it stopped working and you stopped using it. I don't think I ever used it to prune chunks. We didn't really do that on Hermitcraft for a long time. Right, I think I had this other idea as well, that what I might want to do is like build out the ribs but not put in the black concrete. The black concrete tends to take a lot of time, and when you're doing this digging activity like we are now, it might be kind of cool just to get in there and place the bones anyway. So that'll be our strategy for expanding the rib cage today. We're going to focus on like stone removal. You know, I'm not using this yet, we'll put it over there. And bone block placement, I guess. Yes, you can see there we're at kind of like the ledge. So I'll go back and turn all of that to concrete at another time. God, I got such a morning voice, haven't I? I tried all my vocal warm-ups and talking, singing to myself, and you know, just sometimes you just need a bit more time. Yeah, I actually just need to hop up on here, don't I? Uh-huh. Put those ones in. Oops. Take that one back. And I fell off. Right, do I got more? Of course I got more. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too ham actually with this. Like, the point is to avoid getting into the weeds of this, so it's more about just getting the guidelines and the rough shape together so that we can keep this whole structure going. And now we've got tons of gravel. Yep, there we go. Gravel always gets in the way. Opinion on toxic masculinity, says Great Dark Shark. I think that can be a contentious term out of context, because I don't believe that masculinity is inherently toxic. Not to sound like one of those antagonistic sort of what's the contrarian, like, but like it's like feminine toxicity, right? Now I can imagine that masculine traits will lead to more toxic behavior than feminine, but like it's just a loaded term, right? Because it just immediately sort of invites, I don't know, like it's very general. So I don't have much to say on it because it just sounds like a term that would be applicable to a particular type of situation that is being described, but I don't think it means, like, I don't think you can be like all masculinity is toxic. That's just looking for, that's just troublemaking right there, in my opinion. Small Gator says, so I see it shows a blueprint. That's pretty neat. Yeah, gives you a blueprint of where to place the blocks. So these colour ones here are ones that are supposed to be air blocks. Then the blue ones are air blocks that are supposed to be something else, and the red ones are stone blocks that are supposed to be something else. And there you go. I need to drink more water. Adam says, masculinity isn't inherently toxic. There can be toxic behaviour in any group. There you go. Pretty easy way to summarise it up. Yeah, I think it's quite easy when presented with an idea like that to just focus on what the idea it seems to initially offer. So, for example, with me, one of the things I've always disliked is nationalism. I'm not a kind of, oh, I'm British and proud sort of person, right? I'd be more proud of being part of a global community than I would a localized one. But it does, you know, like, because you tend to, here's my opinion, and you hold on to it, and you don't sort of think about the other way of looking at things, you don't see some of the good sides of something like nationalism, which is it's a way for people to share a common identity when they're complete strangers, you know? And that has its place and utility, that people can work together based on this idea of, like, you know, we're all British here or something. And that doesn't really vibe with me because, you know, I don't feel like I'd ever need that to work with other people, right? But it's shown to be a thing that, you know, psychologically that is its function sometimes. And so like that, you know, you tend to look at things from your own sort of set in stone way. I might sit down for a little bit. I'm getting a bit of a headache here. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down. Ooh, like slightly dizzying headache. I don't know where that's coming from. I did. Let's sit down. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down. It's patriotism, not nationalism, says Chrysabish. Now, patriotism is something different to nationalism. Nationalism is about like nationalized identity, right? You're part of this group of people. Patriotism is more about like passion for your country. I'm also not very patriotic either. Like, I guess the things that I just value are like more I guess you could say perhaps fact and object oriented. Like, I'm fascinated by mankind's achievements in, I don't know, engineering, architecture, science, the arts. Like, I think about things from that perspective, and that's a perspective that doesn't really tie into, like, this country, that group of people, those group of people. Like, the groups of people that I see are based on their interests and what they do, as opposed to things like nationality or ethnicity. That's how I tend to see the world and see people. It's about, like, the cool things that humanity has done, and all the ways we've, like, helped one another or done amazing things with technology and science. It's never, for me, it's never like, isn't this country so great? Isn't that country so great? Like, you could probably measure up countries in a whole bunch of different ways and show all these things that they've done or have not done. But like, it all ties into the lottery of birth. Like, no one actually picked a card and like, I'm going to join that team. You know, like you lucked out wherever you were born. If you were born somewhere, you know, wealthy or well off. And I don't like the idea of I think I look at like nationalism and stuff in a way like bloodlines. I don't like bloodlines. I'm not too keen on the idea of like inherited wealth. So like monarchies and stuff are particularly unappealing to me. Technically we live in a monarchy here in the UK too. Again, it's like the lottery of birth. Like, if you're born into a monarchy, I mean, no one chose that. No one signed up for that when they were born. Before you were born, there wasn't any... I don't know, it all just seems like a big game of luck. And if we all realised that, we could work to make the game less unlucky for all, and more lucky for everyone as well. If we can, you know, raise... The rising tide raises all boats. So for me, nationalism and patriotism tend to espouse into the areas that I see as being a little more problematic. But, you know, again, like, that's just my way of seeing it. And there are positive traits, probably, of patriotism as well, and it's just not something I've exactly thought a lot about. Arguing about what country is the best is like arguing about whether Java or Bedrock is best. They've both got strengths and weaknesses, but both this amazing game called Minecraft is. Excuse me. AStan83. Yeah, a fair point. A fair point. I guess I would differ a little bit just by saying, like, when it's something like a non-human object like a computer game, it seems like you maybe could have an opinion over which one's better or not. You know, because it's like, if you could only play Bedrock or Java, which one would you pick? Right? Well, that's something I can think my way through. But if someone said you can only have Switzerland or Sweden, I'll be like, oh goodness me, that's countries full of people. I don't want to pick one or the other, right? But yeah, no, I like the spirit of what you were saying as well, is that we should be thankful that there are multiple ways to play this game. As someone who is, you know, obviously prefers Java, sees it as the original and all that kind of stuff, there's no reason a other type of Minecraft can't exist, right? And it's the one that more people play. Like, it's brought so many more people to this game. So, you know, if I think Minecraft is great, a part of why it's great in terms of community and accessibility is because of Bedrock, undoubtedly. Right, let's just crack on. Let's keep on with this way that we're doing it here. I like this workflow. We're doing it a little different, but it works. Let's take this down a big chunk now. Let's go down to this level. Fill up with stone. How are we doing? We've got loads already. How much did it take to finish the full ribcage? I'm estimating, I reckon, around 40 hours maybe. And I'm just thinking, like, if I think about how many weeks there are in a year, it's about chipping away at it. So I need to actually get a full render, because I've kind of realized something. That is whoa. Okay, I was messing around with the zoom. You can zoom out, right? Hang on, let's mess around with this a bit. So if I go into F5 mode, right, I wanted to take a screenshot, but I wanted to be further away from myself, and you can kind of do that by inverting the zoom key. But when you go out to 100, then it gets really weird. Ah! Oh god, Xisuma's on drugs! X, what did you take? What did you take? What have you done? Oh my gosh. I feel like this should be the thumbnail of the video. Like, absolutely trippy thumbnail. What on earth? I feel, maybe zoom in a... I don't know. What's the trippiest, like... That's pretty trippy. I'm gonna go with that. I don't know, it creates so much like dead space. That's it, I'm gonna go with that there. Ha! That's so trippy. Why did I press the zoom key? I've completely forgotten why I pressed that. Oh yes, so down the bottom there, that, you know, if you put your hand, let's say you start where your neck is, which is somewhere up there, right? Like your neck. And imagine, except you're over here, and imagine that you draw a line down your rib cage. There's a bit where the ribs start to split, but what they do is they go downwards after they split, so it's probably a lot deeper than that is what I'm getting at. Base J, thank you for 3 months, and Fegley with cheers and bits saying, have you considered putting organs in your skeleton once it's done to house different farms, like a moss farm in the brain, a moss farm down the esophagus to the stomach, kelp and bamboo farms in the lungs, and storage system in the heart? I have not, Fegley. That's not the way I'm doing it. That's an interesting idea, and one that I think, as a conceptual Minecraft base would be really interesting. Thank you so much for the cheers and the biddies. What I'm going to do is use the rib cages as gaps that I fly into. So, like, what I might do is just put a bunch of something else back there, so you can sort of look in and see there's a cocoa bean farm, and then you, like, fly through the rib cage into it. And we're kind of getting to the point where I could start to use it too. Like, now that I've come down to this space, I could use some of the ribs behind me over there to like, fly into and have some projects in. And I kind of wish I put that tree farm a little closer to all of this. I kind of hastily put that together. The tree farm that I built, could always rebuild it near here, actually. Like, it doesn't take too much work to build that thing. Yeah, maybe I'll do that on a stream at some point. Rebuild it nearby. Yeah, I could be flying over to that thing, whenever I need to use it. It's just not the way. I kind of envisioned having tunnels to get to projects that were further away, like the slime farm, and that, of course, I will do. Yeah, I think I need to go put this away. What rib are you on? Rib number 1, 2, 3, 4. We're doing rib 5. Now, if there's 26 or something, people said, isn't that like 13 on each side? So we could be almost half the way there, or approaching half. And gravel goes down here. Gravel, gravel, gravel. I'm new to stream, so I followed your YouTube content for over 4 years, says Lazy Gamer. Oh, well, welcome to the stream, my dude, and thanks for following me over on the tubes. All that we do over there. Let's get more of this put in. Oh, those zombie sounds are so annoying. Quit your moaning and groaning already. Oh, is that one not? It's not. Xisuma, if you were a real void walker, what would you do? Well, I'd be walking those voids, obviously. God. I mean, what kind of void walker wouldn't walk voids? Jeez. Question answers itself. You're going back to the whole thing about, like, nationalism and all that sort of stuff. Or maybe not. Let's, beat DJ24, DJing those beats with 500 biddies, saying, do you have any bone-related minigames in mind for the season? I don't. I had a couple of, like, really cool minigame ideas. They just take so much time to engineer. That's what I'm realizing, and oh my goodness me, like, I signed myself up for another grind again. I feel like I really need to find a smarter way to play this game sometimes. Like, the grind needs to be in exploring stuff in creative mode for me at the moment, and I've signed myself up for building a giant rib cage, right? Because I guess one of the things about a grind is that it's like you've always got something to chip away at and work towards, but like what I want to do now is like work towards more engineering, creative, redstone-y type things like minigames, and yeah, I'm stuck here doing a grind. And don't get me wrong, like you need it every now and then. I had a long day yesterday out in the garden. So currently I'm eating, eating to bulk, so eating a little more than I need to every day. Yesterday I ate 3,400 calories, and that was from like working in the garden, and I had to do a lot of, like, I had to go pick up a hedge trimmer and carry that about, and I went for a cycle in the morning. I did so much, and it was really weird. Like, I don't need to eat that much food. I've gotten pretty comfortable with eating less food. God, it's just so much. Why was I telling you this? Soul TSC, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate it, my dude. So yeah, on the whole like nationalism thing and whatnot, like I just see like we're all one people, and I love the things that people achieve and create and make and talk about, and I don't know. I just like separating people into groups. I don't really like it. Can you make a video on how to get the thing that makes it so you can texture single items? That's called making a resource pack, and there are probably plenty of videos already out there on how they work. When you ask someone to like make, like if you said, "Oh, can you make a video on how to make a mod?" Like things like resource packs and mods are like you have to just learn about them and learn all the different things that they can do to create that specific thing that you want. So you kind of have to learn the whole resource pack game. And there are loads of resources out there on it, and you just got to start somewhere. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, that'll do. I'm eating chips, says Cracked Cat. I'm going to have some chips today with my Sunday lunch at the pub. There we go. This song's really great. Angry K9 86. Hey X, finally able to catch another stream. Keep up the great work. Thank you, my dude. Glad to have you. And thank you for remaining evil with Evil X. Only some people are evil on this channel. I don't know. That's my jingle, or whatever you want to call it, for now. Ah, right, we've got a second one going. As I'm going down, I'm realising that we're sort of developing a second one. We'll stick with this approach. I like this approach a lot. Let's knock it down to this level this time. So we're going to rip out an absolute ton of stone now. Absolutely tons of it. Do you eat at the pub, says Frogger? You can indeed get food at a pub. And depending on what sort of pub it is, you know, some pubs the food will probably be ropey, some will be really good. You probably want to go to like a family pub that's advertising itself as being somewhere to eat as well. Now that you've decided against the video style that you used in Season 8, do you miss it at all? Good question. I don't miss it, but I do feel like I don't know, I haven't really found like a new rhythm. That's what's been annoying me. I think I've just played this game for so long that I don't know, like it just feels like I'm doing the same thing over and over again sometimes. And I want to find a new way to express it, but I don't know what that is. I really think I made a mistake picking out this this huge grind of a base, because that's what you do on Hermitcraft, right? You build mega bases. Yet in the back of my mind, I've been knowing what I want to do is like put more time into the creative aspect. Okay, let's dig this down a little here too, to the level of the cave. Anyway, what do I always say? It'll soon be Christmas, right? So, this thing will get finished at some point, and when it's finished, I'll be able to, like, evaluate what's next, and it won't be a grind, I'll tell you that. That's when maybe we can decide, ah, right, we're going to build, like, some mini-games on the server or something. Okay, looks like we're going to go one block further down here. With your love of food, do you watch much food cooking related YouTube content? Not really. I have done in the past. I tend to just not have like the time to watch cooking tutorials and then sort of follow them, essentially, which I would like to do. But I do watch, what's his name? Beard Meets Food. That's kind of like this weird therapy of watching someone eat an extraordinary amount of food, and it just kind of makes me feel like satisfied. Like, yeah, I don't need to do that. Because I think everyone always likes the idea of a good feast, right? The thing with me is when I feast and have a really big meal, like, you're never really satisfied. I don't know, it always feels like I could always eat more. I'm always hungry. And then when you do, you know, actually eat enough, you tend to be bloated before you realise it, and it's uncomfortable. So for me, it's always just like, food's always like an obsession in a way, and what really helps is just thinking about it different and being distracted from it. And I'm actually finding myself, like, now that I'm eating with a surplus, like, I'm actually a little uncomfortable with the amount of food that I'm eating, which is really strange. But anyway, watching someone, you know, eat an entire tray of KFC not being particularly appealing to me, is helpful in a weird way. It's just like, yeah, you don't need to do that, because it's kind of a thing, like, in the back of your mind. Oh, what if I, like, you know, have a feast one day, go into a restaurant, order everything on the menu. You know, I've never actually done that, and I don't think I will, but point being, like, you can watch someone else do that, and then you just realise, yeah, I can't eat that sort of amount of food. Like, this guy is technically a professional eater, right? And that comes with a lot of practice, technique, knowledge. You have to get used to it. It's not about, like, professional eater isn't just like turn up and eat. You know, there is training and stuff involved, and technique. Yeah, watching someone else do that makes me realise, yeah, I don't need to eat like that. I'll let you do that. Why did you make me remember Nikado Avocado? I made a video about him on the Xisuma Says channel. I haven't followed that guy since. But that, I don't know, the whole thing seemed rather quite tragic to me. Sort of watching someone eat themselves to death. And I don't know, the whole thing was like quite upsetting. So I don't really go and see what's going on there, because it's just going to be like weight videos and more binging, and yeah, very unhealthy. It's quite worrying, says Noddy Picao. It is, yeah, and I wonder if, you know, does YouTube have like a moral obligation in any way to step in there? You can very easily frame the behaviour as both destructive to themselves and to other people too. But as I'm pointing out, it can be therapeutic. I've seen the guy defend himself, saying, people message me saying, oh, your videos help so much, and it's like, yeah, of course it will help some people, but the point is, it's going to be unhelpful to some people as well as it is helpful to others. For me, the moment I take a bite of anything, I have 30 minutes to eat as much as I can before my brain decides you're full now, says Smug. Interesting. What was I? I was eating at an Indian restaurant on our little vacation a while back, and I actually got the signal from my brain while I still had quite a bit of food left that, like, I'm pretty satisfied now. And I was all like, what? Like, where's that voice coming from? I haven't heard that in a while. But yeah, like, I kind of got this signal through of like, you could probably stop eating now. And I still had quite a bit left, and I don't like wasting food, so I ate everything else. But I was like, dang, I wish that would turn up more often. You know what? That being said, I am the way that I cook and eat. It's always whatever I put on my plate, I eat everything, right? I don't like wasting food. And I guess because I eat like that, it may be that my body's more used to just me deciding what it's going to eat, rather than, you know, the other way around. Like, maybe if I were to not always finish my plate. I'd have more of an intuition for like, okay, I'm good now, you know? But I don't have that because I always eat the portion in front of me. So what I'm eating is essentially like proportioned. How can I say it? It's like it's not decided by the body sending out signals. It's literally me giving myself a portion of food and eating every bit of it. That could in itself potentially be bad, right? The not wasting food bit is terrific. I don't want to waste food, but you know, if I don't eat based on how I feel at the time, it probably leads to putting in a bit more than I need to. Machi3107, thank you for 27 months. How far have you got on the skeleton skull? Well, what you see right here is how far we got. JJB Martin, thank you for 9 months. Greatly appreciated. Mr. Food Dorama says, just need strict portion control. I think you've entirely misunderstood what I've said. Portion control is the problem, right? Like, because here's what I'm going to eat, you know, I make it, I eat every bit on the plate. You remember I do calorie counting and meal planning. You know, I like to want to hit my protein goals and stuff, so I figured out all that I'm going to eat over the course of a day before the day started, you know. I adjust it as I go based on how much activity I'm doing, etc. But the problem that I'm describing is that when I eat, it's like a subscribed amount. So it's sort of predetermined, and that could be the issue because I don't ever go, oh, I've had enough, and stop eating. It's like I'll eat whatever's on my plate. So if I order, very rarely, I have with takeaways and curries on occasion gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, this is just too much for me. But you know, that's not a normal thing. Whereas I imagine for other people, because I see other people do it, like, you know, you go, oh, I've had so much, and you know, they don't finish their plate. It was always taught to me that not finishing your plate was like a bad thing. But now that I think about it, like, if you're listening to your body, you know, you're not finishing your plate because you're full. Your body sent you those signals. And I don't usually get those signals. I guess because we were out at a restaurant, everyone's talking, you're eating slower. Maybe it gave like my body a chance to send that signal. Because it was really strange. It was really strange to sort of look down at my food and go, I think I've eaten enough. Guzendi Jaska says, put less on plate and add more after eating if not enough. That's probably the way to do it, but remember, like I said, I meal plan everything, so it's not something I really am going to do unless I decide at some point that I'm done with like calorie counting and meal planning and all that kind of stuff. I don't know when I would be, because it works for me. It keeps my weight under control. It helps me achieve what I want to with my physique and diet and stuff. So I don't really have much of a reason to change, other than this little realization that we have achieved by waffling. See, waffles are good, aren't they? You have a waffle, you learn something. Oh yeah, we got to stop using that now, haven't we? Time to generate more cobble. I need a portable source of XP to repair this as I go, I think. We got Stefan RBK here for 13 months. Did you miss the Mumbo prank? You did, yeah. Yeah, you always miss that Mumbo prank. Oh, why do you? Why do you, eh? And Brink85, thank you so much for 7 months. Greatly appreciate the support as always, peeps. I remember watching this documentary on something where they renovated a diner or something for it to make it all blue, and it tricks your brain into eating less. They made this specifically for truck divers. They mentioned because it's blue, less frequent than other colours in food. Yeah, that's fascinating. That doesn't surprise me at all. I'm really interested in psychology like that, because sometimes those are things that are useful to you. Like exposing yourself to bright lights in the morning helps you feel more alert and awake, which is like a bit kind of obvious when you think about it. Like, yeah, but then when you think about, you know, it's obvious because of the sun, right? The sun wakes you up. We interact with the sun. It gets our body to produce certain hormones and whatnot. But like, then when you think, well, what's my environment right? Because of what's the weather like outside? Maybe it's cloudy. Are you indoors? And it gave me this cue to like turn on the lights that I've got in the rooms that I go into, because you know the sun gets into the house, but it's gonna like dim. And since I've been turning on the lights in the morning just to make sure it's nice and bright, I actually feel way more alert and energetic and stuff. It's really interesting how that works. So X, you don't have a comfort food. I have my favourites that I might describe as comforting foods, but I do not comfort eat. That is not something I will do. I do not like use my emotions with food like that. That being said, I did during the pandemic, because you know, everything was quite difficult, and I would schedule myself some binge curries, if you want to call them that, some mega curries, and zonk out and watch a movie, and that was definitely using food in a more emotional way, just to kind of like turn the brain off, enjoy some food, and watch a movie. But I don't really do that so much at the moment. So yeah, this idea that, you know, you can paint a restaurant blue and people will eat less, right? Restaurant owners are like, dang, I ain't painting my restaurant blue. But it reminds me of another psychological study that I heard about, where they would change the prices of drinks and food at this vendor, which is like a pop-up sort of, like a food truck, right? You know, it just sandwiches, coffee and tea, drinks, that kind of thing. And what they would do is they would put different images next to the board with the signs of the prices, and then they would change the prices during the week, and all the workers that were there would you know, either notice these price changes or say or do something about it, right? Like, and when they put these big authoritative looking eyes, I think it was eyes next to it, people would say less about the price change. And so they were sort of looking for an authoritative figure of, like, you know, Big Brother is watching. And when they deployed those images, people would make less remarks or next to none about the change in price. Whereas when they didn't use those images, people would complain about how the price had been changed. Fascinating. A mega curry, you say, says Adam. Adamaker Deck. I think that's right. Yeah, I used to order like 2 mains, 2 sides, and something else as well. Maybe 3 sides. I can't remember. I would order a lot of food. I'd do it like once or twice a week. I'd just have the zonk out and enjoy a massive curry. And yeah, I ain't doing that at the moment. Oh yeah, the inventory's full. That's what's going on here. We are making some killer progress today, aren't we? So much so, I may need more chests. A lot more chests. Oh, I guess those ores are going to not be silk touched as much now. Have you ever coded, X? I've coded HTML and CSS. And that makes me an absolute pro, doesn't it? That makes me a champ. Coding god over here. Where did this start? Somewhere over here? How tall is that rib cage? It's ridiculously big, is what it is. X, have any of the hermits seen your face, says Stupid Genius? All of the hermits have seen my face. God, we have our weekly face-to-face camera meeting calls over Skype, you know. Efo's there, I'm there, everyone's there. Oh, how do you think we communicate with one another? Jeez. Just using voice, shut up. Yeah, you can't get anything done with just voice. Go away, gravel. Actually, we need all the gravel, so you know, good to collect it. James Drew 27 74 months Evil X in the chat. Thank you so much, my dude. Your support is appreciated. Hope you continue to enjoy what we do here. Right, we've got some more rib coming up over here, that's for sure. Uh-huh. There we go, be gone. Right, so... yeah. You know the dealio. Let's keep placing these bone blocks. Let's look for a message. Is there going to be a pelvis? No, the ribcage is the end of the skeleton. But the world is probably big and deep enough to build a whole skeleton. On this scale, anyway. The Hydrolyzer, thank you ever so much for 2 months of support, my dude. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We got 1,200 peeps joining us here on a Sunday morning. I hope you all are entertained. Be sure to hit that follow button with your fist. Oh, that old joke. Haha. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Yeah, do hope you enjoy it. And there you go. The old remind to follow reminder. You gotta do it if you're a streamer. You gotta do it. Right, that's that goes a bit deeper back there. You don't always have to do exact as you see, right? So I think what I'll do here is just do that. Have you ever been recognised in public? I live 30 minutes from XB and I'm positive I recognise your voice if we ended up in the same bar or something. No. I mean, I've met... I'll just say no. Why do you all care so much though? That's the thing, that's the like... oh, I don't get it. What do you look like? What if someone recognises your voice? I don't get it. Human curiosity, says Lucaro. Maybe. I'm just not curious in that way. Like, I watch a lot of content creators, and rarely does it cross my mind that I might recognize them or something. Or anything along those lines, I guess. Mystery is alluring, says Lil Spagbowl. Yeah, but it's like, it's also not a mystery. I don't know. You know, face reveal, what do you look like? Well, I just look like, you know, what do all those other people look like? I just look like a person, right? I'm not hiding some hideous deformity or something. You know, you'll see the face and then forget it tomorrow. Yeah, it's like it's only mysterious. Like, that's the thing with mystery. Like, there's genuine mysteries, like I don't know, some of those old stories and tales about people flying into the Bermuda Triangle, or like, you know, unsolved crime. That's a mystery. Not knowing what someone's face looks like, that's not a mystery. That's just an absence of information. And so, like, what is the utility of that? There's no utility really. Yeah, it's just the way the internet works, I guess. How many screen masks can you wear on top of each other until they start becoming uncomfortable? One. You can wear one screen mask and it's uncomfortable. The masks I wear when doing the guitar videos are not exactly, yeah, comfortable, right? It gets hot and foggy and yeah, they're quite the pain really, but you know, that's the way I could do those videos. And it was quite fun to do them in the end. Did a couple more earlier this year, didn't I? What your building says, Sesqui Sentinel Soldier. Clearly it's a ribcage, isn't it? God, don't you know what the inside of a ribcage looks like when you're standing in one in Minecraft? Okay, I've got to turn that zoom around. Yeah, we're building the inside of a ribcage. That's my base. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, that's better. That's better. Now I've got some proper zoom. Proper zoom. Hey, is my inventory full? Because I ain't picking up any of these blocks, am I? Usually if a content creator doesn't show their face, they want privacy. I think it's a part of why VTubers are on the rise. Is semi-facial engagement while keeping your privacy, says Soul Survivor. Yeah, maybe. That's probably either a part of it or a part of it for a particular person who's doing all of that. I think some people like having the avatar as well. Like they like having an alternate identity, so to speak. When I used the internet as a kid back in the day, you know, before Facebook and all that kind of stuff, like you used to gather in online spaces, communities, as with some sort of name that wasn't your own. And I don't know how far this phenomena extends, but it really felt like pretty much everyone went online with some sort of little persona name, right? And you would gather in these communities and hang out with other people who were using the little persona names. And what was popular at the time? The Matrix. There were probably hundreds of people called Neo something. Neo was a very popular username. And then Facebook and MySpace. MySpace initially started, like some people used their own name on MySpace. A lot of people were still using alternate names. So like you'd meet people IRL and then you'd exchange like MySpace. And then their MySpace sometimes was their name, but more often than not I seem to remember it just being some sort of like alternate name. And then Facebook really kind of changed that. It convinced people to use their own name online. And so there was a culture of, in the beginning, using pseudonyms. And I don't think it was particularly to protect privacy or, you know, I don't think there was an intentional thought behind it. It was just kind of how people used it then. Because you were online, you just kind of didn't use your actual name for some reason. And so a lot of you probably haven't grown up with that kind of online environment. It's all just been Facebook and here I am on the internet. So I come from a generation where you didn't log on to the internet that way. And I like that. I still kind of like use the internet like that. I don't know, want to do stuff and create and like if I'm going to go sign up for some sort of community and be a part of it, I'm always going to just use a pseudonym. It's just how I operate, I guess. Right, I'm almost thinking that sooner, maybe than later, we might go do a little bit of work on the opposite side of the ribcage. We don't want it to lag too far behind. So I'm pretty happy with everything coming down to this level here, so we'll just continue this around. And that'll probably be it for today, over on this side. I really like the anonymity of a community. It's just the nice separation from in real life stuff, in my opinion, says Short Insomniac. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess if I think about the time when I was using the internet as a kid, it was definitely escape from all the IRL stuff, you know. You were just someone else online and it was kind of fun. It's fun. I say it's fun. Like, you used to share tons of personal stuff, you know. You talk with other peeps about, like, what's going on in your life and feelings and stuff. But you'd always do it through this, like, pseudonym. And there's something cool about that. We still have a lot of that today. Like, a lot of people, like now on Twitch chat, are all using pseudonyms, right? But if this were Facebook, you'll be using your actual names. Hey X, I like how you've been talking about Lightmatica as a bit in your videos. I've used it for a while, and I have a tip. If you go into the visual settings, you can disable the extra blocks category and get rid of everything that is pink. Ooh. Let's check it out. Visual, extra. Okay. That one. Let's see how we fare with that then. Interesting. I feel like what that does is it lets you know you're inside the area of the schematic, right? But I know it'll trip me up. I know it'll trip me up at one point or another. I'm trying to think of like when, but that is definitely preferable, right? Oops. Definitely preferable for now, because like somewhere to my left, the end of placing these bone blocks will occur, and like those pink blocks then disappear, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's like the edge, or whatever. Maybe, oh no, maybe not, because we looked through the menu. I was just thinking, if that had a slider and you can make it subtle, then you might notice the distinction between the regular blocks and not. But anyway, that is, thanks for the tip. That is definitely immediately just such a better way to do it. So appreciate that. Thank you. We need more bone blocks. There we go. I use my name as I just don't have the energy anymore to separate online and IRL stuff. It used to be important to me, anonymous, but not so much anymore, says Everest Drew. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you sign up for over time. I don't know, like services and apps where you just use your name now, whereas in the past you might have like used a pseudonym and paid for it. I've kind of given in on that front. I've just been like, yeah. In the back of my mind, it's always like, God, how many companies have like data on you and stuff? I got a pitch for a gaming app thing recently. I didn't really look into it much because I feel like I knew what it was about straight away. But like, it's about getting paid to play games as a gamer, right? And who is it associated with? I think it was associated with Overwolf. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is just data harvesting, right? And the fact that they like pay you to play games and stuff is interesting, but like it's because they're harvesting data. And I almost thought like if they were just open about that aspect of it, like, and said, look, we're harvesting data, because when it comes to data collection stuff, one of the things that people have been saying, and I agree with, is that all this data that we're giving away when we use websites and they gather metrics and all this sort of stuff, like, it's making other people very wealthy, and we're just giving it away for free. We're giving them away incredibly valuable information for free, and that needs to change. We should be a part of that, and this potentially you could frame as being like that, right? You get paid to game because what they're doing is they're probably harvesting all the metrics of the games that you play when you play them, and then that becomes valuable information for data brokers, right? They can create data sets that tell you these type of gamers play at this type of day, or this is the demographic, this is the average play session, they overlap with this community, that community. You can build like some very valuable data for marketing and even for game design and in-game attribution and stuff. So that's interesting. But like, if they were open about it, I think that would be really great. Like, if people were like, yeah, you can harvest my data and I get paid for it, that's it. That's what we want. That's the dynamic that we've been looking for. But this one doesn't do that. It's literally just like, get paid to play games, and they don't tell you how they make the money. And I just thought, oh, that's kind of like, it's almost like what I want to see, but they don't tell you that the way they're doing it. And if they did, that would be great, because then you'd know how they make the money. You can opt in for it, you know? There is a website called Say Mine App that looks at what data is held on you. It's really interesting. Sort of online tech tips. Oh, Say Mine App. I will have a look into that. I've already used some stuff where you get like notifications for like where data breaches happen and like what gets compromised, passwords, emails, things like that. So if ever some website that you signed up for a long time ago gets compromised, you can learn about like what was compromised. So if it's a password and you're still using one password for everything, which is not a smart move in this day and age, you should know by now, surely. I hope people have been educated that that's not the way you do a password. Anyway, you know, if that website was breached, you can learn about it, and then you can go, ah, this is okay, like I need to now change this password on other sites, because that information is now in the hands of people that will use it for nefarious intent. So yeah, it's all about just like being open with that. I think like we want to change how data harvesting works, but I think the transparency is great, especially if you're offering people a way to make money. Have I been pwned? Says Mayschool. That's one of them, yeah. Some dude analysing data probably just saw a spike searching for the Say Mine app website, says JJB Mine. Maybe. I don't know if someone's sitting around analysing that live. I don't even know what constitutes a spike, because who knows how many people... I know there's a few people watching here, but if it has a daily traffic of, you know, 20,000 users, a few extra clicks might not look that much. The most worrying thing about data gathering is that they almost know more about you than yourself. It's especially worrying that they know where you live and so on, says Jermenin. Yeah, I mean, the power of this data is incredible. I think saying it knows more about you than you know about yourself probably goes against most people's like heuristics. Now, of course it can't, but I think you can easily underestimate different types of insight that this data has into your behavior as a human, right? And the human experience, it's easy to sort of think of your interaction with your reality as being like sort of clear and absolute, whereas there are many pitfalls of human experience that are measurably flawed. And you know, until you know about these biases and these flaws, they may not open you up to other ideas that data and how data can be read and looked into, you know, can glean insights into your behavior that maybe you're completely unaware of. And there's been quite a few examples and little stories about remarkable uses of this data. Like a woman found out that she was pregnant before she knew herself because of what the data could glean about her behavior, and the way it got used was through marketing and advertising. It identified her as someone who was pregnant based on, I don't know, all sorts of metrics, right? And when it did that, it started advertising, you know, pregnancy-related products to her. And that's the power of this data. And then there's also the metadata of, like, not just individual behavior, but like collective behaviors. And you'd be amazed as to how much information can be gleaned from all these metrics. And you also probably be quite amazed as to how many what might seem like insignificant pieces of information are captured. If you use an Android device, I might be misremembering this to some extent, but I believe some of the metrics that it captures involve simple things like when you're loading a page, right? Everyone can probably understand, oh yeah, you know, I visited this website, they know about it, it's part of the data set. But also things like which part of the web page did you linger on for the longest, right? And like how many times you scrolled up and down and which part you focused on the longest. Like they collect all sorts of metrics like that too. It's incredibly powerful. And with that, they can just, you know, end up creating things like TikTok that are absolute like attention magnets. They just completely understand the psychology of people and create a product that taps into it and keeps you hooked on the platform, you know. So like the gathering all this data is immensely powerful and creating an extraordinary amount of wealth. Not just through how it brokers to advertisers, but how you know, data can be used to create better and smarter products. And we're all giving it away for free currently. So if this gaming platform, if that's their business model, which it clearly does appear to be, I think it'd be a great opportunity just to be open about it, you know, and then let people make their own decision. Because that could be the beginning. If people accept that and they're like, oh cool, you know, yeah, take my data, pay me to play games, then that's the beginning of taking some control back right there. And that's what we need. We need like a shift where all these websites collecting data and stuff, they give you some of that back. You know, they should be letting you decide to what extent you want data tracked, and then for what you share with them, you should be paid for it, I think. I mean, if you know, you can disable all that personalized advertising keyword if. I don't know what you're saying about that. Let's read another one. Also, if you look up a product and decide to buy it the next day, there's a big chance of it having raised its price, says Sir Gemin. Possibly, yeah. The story that I heard about that amazed me was related to insurance companies. So insurance companies will buy data about users who browse the web, and it's not just about, you know, how they buy insurance. They look at what type of shopper they are. Are they someone who shops around for a bargain, or tends to just go to a website and buy the first thing they see? So I don't do a lot of shopping around. I tend to just, when I need something, I go to Amazon and order it, right? So I'd probably fall into this category of someone that they would target. So you're shopping for insurance. You've been identified as the sort of user that doesn't shop around for a bargain. They will jack the price up over 1,000%, right? Compared to someone who shops around for a bargain, because they know that person's gonna go look at that price and then compare it to a different offer or service, or you know, other insurance company basically. And that is astonishing, right? But that is the power of data right there. Think of that. You don't even consider like how you use something like browsing a website and the little individual choices you're making as being, you know, something that someone else is very interested in learning from and figuring out your psychology as a shopper. And yet, that's the deal. That's what happens, you know. And like, a lot of people aren't awake to this, aren't aware of it, or sort of don't care because it doesn't sound, you know. So what if they mine my data? That kind of attitude. It's like these examples help you understand like what's going on here. It's like, look at how powerful this is. You could be raked out of a lot of extra money because this website just knew you weren't going to go somewhere else based on all that data they've collected on you. so they jack up the price. You could argue that perhaps law and legislation should come in and prevent these practices from happening. But, you know, it's not just in places like that where data can be used in that way. It's in lots of different places, so... people need an understanding, right? Understanding of this stuff. Okay, what have we got here? Oh, Lucaro, that might be true, but it's probably just a joke from a stream, as opposed to, like, I never did anything, air quotes, clever? I don't know. That sounds like a, an old joke. Isn't them using your data payment for using their website? They only make like 0.12 per person. Okay, Quasar, I don't know where you've pulled this 12 pence per person on such a like open conversation where we're not specifically talking about any website. But like, if you want to make the argument that the data is like in exchange for using the service, well, that's basically the notion. If it's free, you're the product, right? So all these websites are free. Facebook is free. You know, YouTube is free. Why is it? Because you are the product. Your watch time on YouTube, your viewing of advertisements and staying on the platform is the business model. You are the product, right? That's important to understand there, because you might not like that. If you're completely fine with that arrangement, cool. I would argue that it needs to be more transparent for people to be okay with that arrangement. But yeah, you know, if it's free, you are the product. Why is TikTok free? Because you're the product. They're gathering all this valuable data on you, and they're more than happy for you to download the app for free and come and partake. Now, if that's something that the average person fully understands, and I don't think they do, maybe I don't even fully understand the extent of the wealth this data is creating and what it can be used for, and what happens if it's in someone's hands one day and it's in someone else's hands the other day. Right, this is why I think you need transparency and regulation and whatnot around this stuff, and people need to be educated on it so they can make proper informed decisions. But yeah, you are the product, right? And if you're okay with that, then great. But you know, this data is powerful, and you might think it's fine in the hands of good old harmless Facebook that's never caused any problems in this world. Bit of sarcasm there. But then one day, Facebook might get brought out by another company, and then they have access to all of that data that you've given away for them. What, you know, what happens when the data falls into the hands of nefarious people? It already happens in terms of leaks and hacks, right? People's information in these places gets stolen a lot of the time by hacker groups and whatnot that have their uses for it. You know, if they can steal large amounts of data that's been collected by these companies because, you know, you signed up for their app, which was free, these hackers could potentially use that data to target vulnerable people. They can identify, you know, through people's habits of like what apps do they use, what programs, they can probably identify people that are not very tech savvy and then target them for scams. You know, like, data is powerful, and who has that power? How is it being handled? These are the things that, you know, need to be addressed, in my opinion. A9 Sir, thank you ever so much for 15 months. Greatly appreciated, my dude. The average person generates $35 of user data per month. The thing with this data is that it doesn't turn useless after the month ends. It's useful for actual years, says the Burnfield. Great point. I don't know if I've heard that estimation before, but I probably have heard an estimation at one point or another. That's, you know, that's close to, what, 400 a year? Is it 420 a year? Oh, 420. Oh, giggle. Everyone would like, you know, that extra in their pocket a year. That's helpful. I mean, But yeah, what was the second point there about it doesn't turn useless? That's a really good point, because data is useful historically as well. Historic trends can be, you know, used in a variety of ways. So yeah, that's another very good point. It's not like the usefulness of it is going to expire. It's going to be useful for a long time. Very interesting. Very interesting discussion. Sell your own data to advertisers. Problem solved, says Rockon Shimo. Oh, is it now? Is the problem just solved by that? So how do you go about doing that, you know? Like, they're the ones collecting the data through their apps and their metrics. You know, and like, what, you're going to individually bargain and go through a load of legal jargon with some company? You need like a much bigger operation than just some individualistic idea of, oh, sell your data. Right, like, could you write Facebook and go, hey, I see you've been collecting my data. Here's my selling price. They're just going to ban you from the platform, right? You signed up for their terms and conditions when you use the app. And who reads those big legal documents, right? Okay, we're getting very close to being done on this side, I think. Very close indeed. Gets very, very slim just around this area, doesn't it? I don't really understand why some people enjoy short videos like TikTok so much. I'd rather gain something from watching a 15 to 20 minute video that completely overloaded by the 10 times video in the same amount of time. It seems it would generate the same results as multitasking, where you end up losing a lot of the information you receive because of the sheer amount of it. I couldn't agree more. That's my general instinct for not going onto TikTok. It seems like you're going to receive a lot of novel momentary stimulus as opposed to like the opportunity to learn on a deeper level about something. So yeah, I'm completely on board with you there. Damn, this thing is beautiful. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Really starting to get a glimpse of the magic at the moment. I think we're going to need more chests over here. It's an absolute steal for these companies to know what each individual person is keen to. If you look at like the phenomenal growth of someone like Google or something like Google, you know, where has all of that tremendous growth come from? It's come from our data. You know, they realized that early on, that data was the way forward. And that's why so many, well, pretty much all Google products are like free, right? Because they get your data from it. Do you watch Xisuma often? I do, yeah, I really like that channel. Amazing channel. Top notch. The creator I've been really enjoying lately is Kyle Hill. And I don't know, the education space, the edutainment space of YouTube, there's loads of creators, and I don't know, I felt like I'd seen like a lot of the big names and like found the ones that I liked, and then I found this guy's content and I was like, how has this eluded me, right? It's such like a total love for all the nerdy, geeky side of science and stuff, and I love the presentation style and the content of the videos, and really, really good. Been enjoying that channel a lot. Adam says, my son and I both watch these channels on YouTube. That's awesome. Yeah, it makes me happy when I hear about like kids having access to creators like that these days, because there was nothing like that I remember when I was a kid that could make you interested in science. It gets me genuinely excited that young people can be watching stuff like Xisuma and getting interested in all of that stuff, because when I was at school, like science and biology and all this sort of stuff, it was so boring, like learning all this stuff out of a textbook that was like, I just don't care. And then these creators, they find a way to make it so interesting. Like I mean, it's already interesting, but someone has to make you realize why, and that's what these creators can do. And it makes me optimistic for the future that, you know, young bright minds coming up in the world, there's more opportunity for people to be interested in science and math and these academics. What was the name of that channel? You got Kurtzgazard, which is a great searchable name, of course. You say it, you know exactly how it's spelt. And then there's Kyle Hill, is the newest edutainment creator. What do they call them? Science communicators I have discovered and been binging their content. Really good stuff. Kyle Hill exists for a while, says May School. Yeah, he's not new on the scene, just sort of like eluded me, because I felt like I'd seen a lot of the different edutainment space, but I mean, YouTube is astronomically massive. I should know this by now. You know, you can just keep going and going and discovering and discovering. But yeah, that was just a recent one where I was like, whoa, this guy's content is great. especially a lot of the nuclear stuff. Is Kurtzgazard German? I believe they might be. Yeah, I think they're based in Germany, right? And the narrator is English. Or sorry, it might be. Oh, now I think about it, what's that voice? It's probably American, isn't it? When you try and remember a voice in your head, it can be really hard, I find, for like to pick out an accent sometimes. I think it's English. I don't know. Chat, is it English? English accent? The guy who does the narration. That guy, by the way, when that Kurtzgazard channel first started to like grow and take off, because I must have been subbed like, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers, like quite a long time, and the narrator's voice was doing something else. I think either on YouTube or like in some adjacent space that I was, you know, watching or whatever. So like some other show or series or channel, and I recognized their voice immediately. I was like, oh, you're from that thing, and I cannot remember what it is now. But yeah, that's like one of the first things I noticed about their channel is like, oh, the narrator, you're from here. Or sorry, yeah, you're from that channel. Yeah, he's not a German accent, but is the accent British? British and American are two that, like, even though I'm British, sometimes when I try and remember a voice, it's like I can't remember what accent it is. Okay, I think what we'll do next is just get this little corner bit here cleaned up, and then I think we can leave this alone and kind of move into the next space. Oh. Yeah, there you go. That should... it looks like I've actually skimped out a fair bit over here. Yeah, something like that'll do for now, I think. Let's get these bone blocks in. Any shows you've been enjoying recently, says Osh Joshua. Obi-Wan, been watching that. Started Stranger Things 4 last night. And then the Wu-Tang Saga is amazing. Those are my shows at the moment. And then waiting for Better Call Saul, the final part of the last season. That's all I'm watching entertainment-wise at the moment. Kurtz's Art in a nutshell have channels in 9 different languages. Wow. Well, there you go. So I'm on about the English channel. Right, there we go. That's that bit done. I guess we're doing kind of like a left to right thing here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That is exactly what it looks like. Slytro! Thank you so much for 35 months, and the Burnfield for 3 months with the Amazon Prime, saying like hugs, and this data is now shared with Amazon. Yes, it is. They know who you subscribe to. Thank you so much for doing that, my dude. Appreciate it. Any history YouTube channel? I follow a couple of history ones. A history's more of the thing where, like, I tend to get into, like, a topic and then dive into it a bit, as opposed to just general history. But history's fascinating too. Where'd you get all these bones? From my mob farm, where we harvest skeletons for their nutritious bone meal. Right, I think I'm gonna switch back to standing. My headache went away. I've not got much water left though. I need to drink a bit more. Have you seen the Sabaton History channel on YouTube? Yes, and I've watched every single video. So, years ago, back in 2014, which is 8 years ago now, this channel started where they were going to cover World War I week by week. Now, I thought that was utterly fascinating at the time. I was like, whoa, that is an interesting experience, because it was 100 years before that World War I had taken place. And they were going to, like, literally, it was like, you know, in your mind you could think, okay, 100 years ago, this is what was happening week by week. And I followed the entire thing, and it was with a presenter called Indy Nidell. And he's very likable, so quite quickly you're like, yeah, this guy's alright, like, great presenter and stuff. And then he started working with Sabaton, and I was aware of Sabaton as a band, and they weren't really my thing. And I think I'd listened to an album of theirs back in 2014 anyway, the Heroes album, and it really didn't resonate with me then. I could probably go back and enjoy it much more now. And he started working with them, and that made me, like, understand so much more about their band, right? Like, when I realised that these guys were, like, history nerds doing metal, it was like, oh, there's an interesting overlap for me. And it just gave me a way into their music. Seeing them team up with this presenter that I like, talking about history in a way that I liked, and military history specifically. Yeah, so Indy, who had been doing the World War I recap week at a time for the last few or so years that I've been following, was then working with Sabaton and doing the history on their songs, and I thought that was great. And he's been doing World War II week by week as well, but I feel like I've sort of had my fix of following war week by week. So I occasionally tune in and see what's happening with that. Anyway, I need to nip to the loo. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere, peeps. I'm back. Oof, right. Let's keep placing these blocks. Because they need a placing. It looks a bit odd at the moment. Because this cave's in the way, but you can kind of see where the next rib is like way lower down, I guess. There we go. What were we talking about? Sabaton? That's what we were talking about, wasn't it? Anyone know if the server is still on 1.18.2? I would think so, says Orbital Locket. I don't know what version of Minecraft it's on, actually. I haven't got a clue. How would one even know? That's a great question. As a server admin, I should probably know how you would figure out what version of Minecraft it's on. Here we go. Oh, Curls, funny story for you. I see you're in chat. So, I was chatting with Curls about coffee grinding and the coarseness or the fineness of coffee. And yesterday I made a decaf coffee, so I have to manually grind. And I swear, like, it took way longer to grind it all than usual, and it kind of felt like something wasn't quite the same as before. But it ground the coffee up really fine compared to how it normally does it. And I got like a brown coffee sludge in my French press, and the coffee was really strong as well because of that. The flavour was just overflowing. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like the grinder that I've got is a manual grinder. Maybe it needs a little bit of like warming up, so to speak, right? Like the more you use it, it kind of like finds its groove or whatever as you work in some flexibility into all that metal that does the grinding. I don't know, something like that. It also, the handle felt hot after. That's how many times I had to spin it around grinding. It like, the handle got warm. Very odd. Anyway, I have found its grind to be a little inconsistent, but yeah, that was really that. Huh. Okay, this one's going to be super fine now, and it went all sludgy in the press. Now I want a coffee. Oh, I'll have one tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. I like Mondays. Have you any advice on how to run a world eater smoothly on a server, says Boop Alive? Well, as someone who has made many world eaters in my Hermitcraft history and has currently dug out a massive perimeter using a world eater in my episodes, on my other channel, I should say, yeah. You know, I would be a great person to ask. You know, from all the world eating. I'm in Season 1, Season 2... Do you remember the world heater that we built last season? God, that ate some world, didn't it? Yeah, I know everything about world eaters, me. I'm a world eating expert. Zeloff, thank you ever so much for using your Amazon Prime subscription on me, my dude. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Hope you don't mind them harvesting your data. Mike Fatty, thank you ever so much for the Prime subscription. Appreciate it, my dude. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Enjoying the stream. Right, let's chew out a bit of that. Yeah, I don't need to go too ham in this space. I think kind of made our point a bit. Oh look, we come up to where there was some concrete before. Yeah, I look at this. I think I had a different idea on this side maybe to keep it real close, and on the other side I've been having it way more open. So I think I will take the time at another point in time to just look at what I've been doing on my camera account and like settle on what's the best way to do it, I guess. For now though, I'm going to put in these bits here and then probably call it a day on that because we've leveled everything down to this level. We got Freak Burrito here for 45 months with the Amazon Prime. Thank you ever so much, my dude. Greatly appreciated. That is a very long time to put up with me for. I appreciate you putting up with me. Let's put in some glow like in. Getting quite spammy with this stuff now. Quite a lot of it about. Right. Yeah. Wow. You can really get some views now. You can really get some views. So where do we want to start digging next? I think what I want to do is probably just dig this down a little bit, but not too far away from where we're building up all of that, I guess. So let's say we go as far as that, across this way. 4 blocks seems like a bit of a limit. Uh-huh. And that is the shape that we will tear out. I got a squat machine. I can use that and still watch the stream at least, says I am Cadby. A squat machine? Why would you need a machine to do squats? What? I can't even think of what that would be. Like, a squat is a bodyweight movement, right? I mean, you can put a barbell on, or you can hold a kettlebell, or hold a plate or something, but, like, why would you need a machine? X, can we get a progression shot on the cam account? I will probably just turn around in a moment and have a look about. Are we full? I think we're full again. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do much more than this, actually. There you go, that's about as far as we need to go with that. Ooh. Ooh, a cave! Oh no, butt kickers, run away! We don't like butt kickers around here. Okay, so... chuck that in there. Here is your everything we've done shot. It looks real. Actually, let's turn off what you call it. Turn off the what you call it. Oh, look at that! Dang! Work has been done. Oof. It's got a vibe to it, I gotta say. And hey, like, for the amount of hours I've put in so far, when we put in a few more and get this side down the same as that, I'm going to be so stoked. That's going to be an amazing environment to get going on. But we won't be doing that today, of course, because I've run out of time. I'll look for someone to raid, but this is the end of the stream. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the follow button. And big thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. Thanks to all my patrons, my mods, all the peeps gifting subs. Y'all are appreciated. Since there is no one I know that we can raid who's streaming right now, I will look for a small channel. Someone has put 4,000 days into their world, so we'll raid this person. I picked out a random channel. I can hear a zombie coming to me. No! No zombie, no! Oh, got away just in time. Okay, let's go for it. there we go. Sending you over to Critters, random channel from the community. That's it, peeps. I don't know when I'll see you next, but it'll probably be a different game from Minecraft. Anyway, take care, everyone. Bye.